that he might have been poisoned might generate a lot of fear.
Yeah, and I'll just hold that thought. And the pictures you're seeing right now to our viewers are from Mombasa, and that is the same exercise. D-Day for candidates. So we are having, of course, this being rolled out across the nation, but these are, you know, security officers that are overseeing the exercise. As the containers are opened, as officials go there and collect the examination papers, and then and later on rather distribute them to the various schools so that the exercise can start. The security officials, or rather officers, as you can see right there, are very instrumental in maintaining law and order. So what you're seeing right there is something that is, like I said earlier on, duplicated or across the nation, and therefore it is something we shall continue to give you pictures of and tell you details in the event that things that are out of order, unique or peculiar to the normal expectations of the exercise happened. We shall have our reporters giving us updates periodically on what is happening across the nation. But clearly, as you can see, in Mombasa, all is well. Okay, now let's go on with Norman Maguire, the fearless and vocal man that was behind the National Super Alliance Brigade in 2017's general election, and his role in Kenyan politics cannot be underscored. You were talking about that element where he said that he suspects he was poisoned after taking a random cup of tea and does not know why, and you said this would evoke a lot of fear to, I mean, anyone who would hear such a story. What do you make? Continue with your thought, actually.
I don't know whether he's telling us everything. You know, sometimes there is... I remember the late George Saitoti. It took years. The vice president then disappeared from the public eye and initially denied that there was anything wrong, anything like what it turned out to be in the end. I think for fear that if he were to admit at that time that he was poisoned, more consequences might follow. From either the same people who wanted to poison him or a related group of people. So I don't know whether Norman Maguire is telling us everything that
of course not.
He would want to tell us. Depends on the situation, I suppose.
Yeah.
If he still feels there is a risk to his life at this point in time, he might not. He might want it swept under the carpet, because you see, saying he was poisoned by certain people in a certain place would demand, therefore, that he goes and reports to the police, records a statement, and then he will be held responsible for whatever it is he has presented in his statement. So I don't know whether he, being the lawyer that he is being careful to avoid trouble, or that he fears that those people who wanted him dead or wanted him harmed might still be powerful enough to do more, so he'd rather leave them alone and seek peace so that they leave him to live his life. But I wish him well. He is a guy who in Kenyan politics, you know, the unsung heroes in Kenyan politics, he would be one of them, and I'm sure that the NASA Brigade, ODM, on the other hand, would look back and say maybe they did not do enough to protect that guy and help him to get all the care he needed when he needed it.
Yeah, and just to read an excerpt as we conclude this talk on this story, he is frail from the look, the fierce and animated Maguire, synonymous to the NASA and Coalition for Reforms and Democracy faction that drove the country's opposition, is no longer there in the flesh, but in spirit. Now, we are having a close look at what's happening as far as the KCPE examinations are concerned. The materials are being delivered to the various centers, and now we have Ibrahim Karanja coming to us live from Nakuru. Ibrahim, what do you have for us?
Good morning, Trace. We are coming live to you from Kapkures in Nakuru West. We are at the examination distribution center. Behind me, of course, you can see the different examination managers getting their exams here. Of course, this is an exercise that was overseen by Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea, who says that at least 330,000 students will be sitting KCPE across the Rift Valley, that is across the 14 counties in Rift Valley. And just to jump into it, perhaps to get into details of security situation across the Rift Valley, I'll engage him. RC, thank you so much for speaking to us. 330,000, 51% boys, 49% girls. What is let's start with the thorny issue. Many people would wonder about the security situation, especially in Baringo and the other counties that are affected. Are the candidates there? Are they there?
Stories of insecurity in the Rift Valley is actually overrated. We've done adequately to ensure that the Rift Valley is a very secure region. And I want to confirm that all our 330 candidates in the region are going to sit the exams in a very secure and peaceful environment, just like any other place in this republic. Those areas that have security challenges, especially in Baringo, are adequately covered. Of course, we secured those areas, and our children have been learning like anywhere else. And these 3 days are just like another place. They're going to do the exams well.
And also among the things that we must talk about is the rate of pregnancy that we saw when schools closed due to COVID. And a number of our girls were reported to be pregnant. Perhaps the situation now, how many girls do we have who are sitting exams perhaps while pregnant, and how many delivered and have actually been followed up to come back and sit for the exams?
I cannot give you a specific number of the girls who got pregnant and are sitting the exams. What I can confirm to you is that adequate measures have been put in place to ensure that these children sit the exams in a very comfortable environment. Those who are expectant now are going to be provided with special desks. They're going to be very comfortable. Those who are almost due again, we've identified them, and we've also put adequate measures in place to ensure that in the event that maybe have exam-induced labor, because it has always happened, you see all this drama on the media all the time, they'll be rushed to hospital where they'll be taken care of by professionals, and we'll still ensure that they sit the exams. And lastly, we have got those maybe who delivered last week or the previous, or even yesterday. They are not going to miss the exams because they delivered. We're going to ensure that we provide them with the basic necessities to ensure that they see the exams. Even if it means that they breastfeed in school, we're going to do that so that they also see the exams. But we know that those are very difficult circumstances. Ordinarily, young girls are supposed to sit exams without having to go through all those shenanigans. And I think going forward, we're going to ensure that some of these things do not happen. Just need to be disciplined people, and we avoid all these primitive behaviors of putting our young girls in the family way, so that we have all these special arrangements for them to sit exams. Very difficult circumstances. Don't expect them to do very well, actually, because of these challenges.
And I'll see perhaps very briefly, 30 seconds, what sort of engagement do you expect from the security agencies, the intelligence agencies, and the education officers across the Rift Valley?
All those are stakeholders in the examination process, and we said those are the only people who are going to be allowed in our schools. Of course, the media will go to those schools with special clearance, as already advised. But the center managers, our head teachers, security agencies, and education officials are all going to be fully engaged in the next 3 days for the KCP, and then subsequently, of course, the KCSE. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, that is Rift Valley Regional Commissioner.
Unfortunately, we are having a bit of problem with that network, but we shall be getting back to him, Ibrahim Karanja, in a few to get more on what's happening in Nakuru. But we have heard those security officials saying they are all prepared. And let's now cross over to Mombasa, where we have Tobias Chanji bringing us the very latest as far as the preparation for the exams that shall be happening not too long from now. Tobias, over to you. What's happening on the ground?
Well, a very good morning, Trix. We are at the regional office of the Director of Education, Mombasa, where we've just witnessed the opening of a container by the Kenya National Examination Council chairperson, that is John Onsoti. And what is happening now is that various teachers from various schools and also security personnel are just picking the exams to the various schools. Remember that Coast Region has a total number of 100,712 candidates who will be sitting for this year's exams, and we've seen an increase of 12%. 2019, we saw 88,102 candidates who sat for that exam. And Kilifi leads with more candidates, who are about 39,386, followed by Kwale that has 22,465 candidates, while Mombasa County has 21,129 candidates. Taita Taveta has 8,771. Tana River has 5,613 candidates, while Lamu has 3,348 candidates, making it the least county. Remember that in this year's exams also we've seen more girls than boys. We have about 51,206 girls who are candidates for this year's exam in Coast Region, while we have around 49,995 boys. So what you're seeing on the screen now, that is the chairperson, Kenya National Examination Council, that is John Onzoti, who is just about to give his remarks concerning the exam. Maybe you can just allow him to just make his remarks as we listen in.
Good morning, members. Or do we wait for the bus to move?
We are live. We are live.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here just to inform you that we are here to witness the start of these national examinations, and also to reassure everybody that the examinations is intact. The examinations has been securely prepared, securely transported to the containers, and we are here to advise our colleagues, the center managers, to continue the process of securing the examinations. And in the same, I want to appreciate all the stakeholders, all the multi-agency members who have participated in the organization of this process of examinations to ensure that we have integrity in our examinations. More so, we are also trying to remind ourselves of this COVID-19, which is causing ravage all over, but we thank God we have been spared, especially to run our schools to this point. Finally, it is also to wish our candidates success in this year's examination, and we are looking forward to the same or similar success as we have had in the last 4 series. Otherwise, I also want to thank the press for the support you have given us in the process of preparing these examinations. But more so, we are saying, let us leave this at what we can call moderate level to avoid creating anxiety in our children. We are conscious about the environment our children have learned, so we are going to take care of every situation, and the children will be able to produce their best. Thank you very much. Thank you, and be blessed.
Well, that has been John Onzoti, who's the chairperson, Kenya National Examination Council, just giving a brief concerning the exams in Coast Region, and just witnessed the opening of the container of the exams to over 100,000 candidates will be sitting for these exams. Now I hand you over to Shadrach Miti, who is in Thika. Shadrach, over to you.
Okay.
Right, and that is Tobias Chanji. We shall be getting news from Shadrach Miti, who is in Thika. Earlier on, we were told that the CS, George Magoha, was on the ground opening up the container, or rather overseeing the opening up of a container containing exam material, and that those, of course, shall be distributed to the schools. We have heard from Tobias telling us also that, or rather interrogating John Onzoti, the chair of the NEC chair that was on the ground, telling us about the examination materials being intact, advising those who are in charge to take care and ensure that that remains the same, and that the coronavirus, of course, has posed some challenges that they are facing up. Now, of course, we have now connected with Shadrach Miti, who is in Thika. Shadrach, if you can hear me, what's happening where you are?
Well, we are here with the CS for Education, Professor George Magoha, and he has just witnessed the opening of the container. And so we are joined with the, let's listen to what he said, and then we'll come back to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you are aware, today is the first day for the KCP examination for our children. As we said in the past, the children are very well prepared. The examination was also prepared, taking that into consideration. You have seen this morning that it is all systems go. All agencies of government are here. We opened the container at 6 o'clock across the nation. We have senior officers of government from the Ministry of Education, Interior, and other agencies and Teacher Service Commission in all the 479 containers countrywide. I chose to start here in Thika, and you have seen for yourselves we have a little hiccup, but it doesn't involve the integrity of examinations. The hiccup we have this morning is that some teachers perhaps did not arrive on time, but I think we are going to reorganize ourselves to be sure that, to ensure that going forward, everybody must be here before 6 o'clock. From the point of view of the children who are taking the exams, they are all prepared. In this area, there are 2 children who are going to take examinations from the hospital. I've been assured that the one that was that had a road traffic accident is quite stable and able to take the exam. The exam will be taken to the child there. Otherwise, mine is to ask everybody in this republic to pray for our children, because this is the very first time in the history of this country that our children are going to face an examination after having been away from class for 7 months. Luckily, speaking as a physician, I think they have recovered very, very swiftly, and that this will not have a very permanent scar or impact in the way they are going to perform the exams. Finally, I want to reiterate once again that the examination is being secured. The integrity of the examination process shall remain unquestionable. Each center manager has 2 policemen whose job is to ensure that that examination is kept with the utmost integrity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. From here, I want to go to a primary school in the slums, or in Kendutu. Perhaps I will decide which one to go to, and then go to the school for the blind. And then I'll go to another area.
Just one question. Last week, while in Kakamega, you talked about learners, candidates in private schools who are unfortunately not registered, but they have to sit for exams. Perhaps you could update us on that, and maybe how is the government approaching?
I want to reiterate this very, very firmly. The examination materials are serialized and secured. But if our children who are in schools, and this particular school was a private school, first of all collected money to register the children, which as I said before, is a criminal offense, because the government of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ordered for the last 5 years that examination fees be paid for all children, both in private and public schools. So it is just a process, it doesn't require anything. But in certain parts, this place is in Nyanza, but I will not go further than that because I don't want to scare the children. All I've said that for those people who took money from the children, and we find that the children were not registered, we have decided as a government that the children must take the exam. Even though under protest, they must take the exam and they must not be penalized. There are quite a few of them. And any other child who presents himself or herself for an examination must be given examination. Of course, then it will then mean that a decision will have to be made from where we are, that an examination paper may be photocopied so that the child can be given an opportunity to do an exam. And like I said, the government is going to deal very firmly, without fear or favor, with those crooks who still think it is business as usual. So nobody should worry, and I think we are all accessible. We have a command and control center. Should there be any child anywhere who is being denied opportunity to take an exam, we need to know so that that can be rectified immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, that is Education CS Professor George Magoha. And as we leave here, I hand you over to Elvis Kosgei, who is in Eldoret, particularly in an Ainamoi area, to tell us exactly what is going on. Over to you, Elvis.
Thank you. We are coming to you from Ainamoi constituency. This is Uasin Gishu County. Remember, here we have 6 sub-counties and 30 wards in Uasin Gishu. Currently, I'm with the CAS Sports, Simon Kachapin, and also the Deputy County Commissioner here in Uasin Gishu. Of course, this exercise started as early as 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and of course, we are keeping an eye just to see what is happening. Remember, in the North region, we'll also be crisscrossing, where we'll be headed to Nandi, Elgeyo Marakwet, Trans Nzoia, and here in Uasin Gishu County. Thank you very much, Bwana DCC.
Yes.
What are some of the tough and innovative measures that you've put in place to ensure that this process is seamless?
We have mobilized enough security personnel. As you can see, every center is going to be will have 2 security personnel. We have also made sure that we have sufficient transport. As you can see, we have mobilized school buses and also government vehicles to make sure that these exam papers get to the respective schools in good time. We are not anticipating any problem. We have made adequate security preparations, and apart from that, we also made sure that we've taken care of special cases, cases of probably students who are probably in hospitals, cases of students who are probably going to sit exams in other special institutions like the GK prison. All those ones have been covered. So we are very, very certain that this process will be very smooth. Yes.
I know in Uasin Gishu County we have 6 sub-counties. I know the remote areas. Have you also put innovative measures to ensure that also the process goes without any hitch?
Yes, like I said, we've made sure that there is adequate transport, and the containers have been opened at exactly 5:30 to make sure that the far-off schools are able to get their exams in good time. And additionally, we have an additional container in Burnt Forest to make sure that the far-flung schools far off from this center also catered for. So we are very certain about this. No problem. We aren't anticipating any problem. Yes.
There's issue of teen pregnancies. Have you also put into consideration?
Yes, like I said, our hospitals are on standby. If we will have any students who will probably be admitted because of pregnancy at MTRH and Plateau Mission Hospital, those ones are covered, and in case we do have such cases, then exams will be delivered to where those students will be. Yes.
Thank you very much. You also have the CAS Sports, Simon Kachapin. What should you expect today?
Thank you very much. Just as the DCC have said, we have been here since 5 in the morning, and I want to thank all the officers who are manning this exercise. They came up very early, and you can see the exercise is almost finishing, and I'm satisfied that the preparations here in Uasin Gishu is adequate, because up to now there is no cause of alarm. Everything is moving on well, and I think if we continue this way for the next 3 days, I think we shouldn't be worried of anything. Yes.
Apart from Uasin Gishu County, which areas as a government representative will you also be crisscrossing?
Yes, after here I will be going to Trans Nzoia, also to monitor the same exercise. And I think everything is going to move on smoothly, because the government has deployed all the necessary resources, both material and human. And I think we are set as a government for this exercise, despite the fact that this time these exams are done in a very different times, these times of COVID. But I can see everybody is wearing masks, and we have encouraged people to do so, and we are going to check even the examination centers if everything is okay. But I think as preparations have been done, and all the center managers have been told to do the necessary to see that we have that social distancing, and all the candidates have masks, and also the officers who are manning the exercise, because this is a time when we have COVID. We have never witnessed these ones before, but I know the government has done the necessary preparation to see to it that this exercise moves on well. Yes.
So, are you satisfied with the process so far here in Uasin Gishu County?
So far, I'm very satisfied, because Everything has gone smoothly, and as this time the exercise is finishing, and I know all the officers will be in the respective schools on time. Yes.
Thank you very much. That was Simon Kachapin, the CS Sports. Of course, also we had the Deputy County Commissioner here in Uasin Gishu County. The process here is seamless. We're expecting from here will also be added to different centers. I told you before, you have 6 sub-counties here in Uasin Gishu County, and of course we'll be crisscrossing also other areas just to see what is happening. There's issue of teen pregnancies, also visit the prison areas just to establish what is happening. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much. Elvis Kosgei is coming to us live from Ainamoi, and we are having our eyes trained on every corner of the country where the exams are taking place. 479 containers were opened at 6 a.m. The CS George Magoha was in Thika West, where he oversaw the opening of the container. A few glitches, such as some teachers being late to collect the materials, but of course that is nothing that affected the integrity of the materials that were distributed, and that is what was said. Shadrach Miti was there and witnessed it as well, giving us the very latest. Of course, he shall be moving on to Kiandutu and a school for the blind. We shall keep you updated on what happens as far as the examination is concerned. And across the country, we are having an all-hands-on-deck situation. Security officials, we are having the ministry, the teachers, even political leaders, as you have seen, on site, ensuring that everything goes as planned. Here with me in studio is Honorable Arthur Adera, as well as Joseph Kioko, who's a political analyst, who are helping us to take a look at some of the current affairs in the country, including that examination that we are expecting. Now, coming up after this break is The Way It Is. We will engage more